The golden road, the three key strategies only used by the best in the world, guaranteed to transform your business, career, and life. You can apply these three key strategies to your business, to your career, to your leadership, to your parenting, to sports, to your health, your relationships, and your happiness. You can apply this to any type of performance or skill that you want to improve. I'm going to ask you a question. I want you to think about this. Are you serious about being the absolute best you can be for yourself and the most important people in your life? If the answer is yes, you absolutely must apply the three key strategies of the golden road. Let's go over them right now. We'll talk about the three strategies and then we'll break each one down. Key strategy number one, find your fire and follow your fun. Prioritize work, activities, and people that energize you, elevate you, and bring you joy. Strategy number two, study and model the absolute best of the best in your discipline or field. Make your thoughts, words, habits, and days look like theirs. Strategy number three, relentlessly seek feedback from trusted advisors and key stakeholders, coaches, and mentors on number one, what you're doing well, and number two, what you need to improve. Then take fast action on what you learn. Let's break down key strategy number one. Find your fire and follow your fun. Prioritize work, activities, and people that energize you, elevate you, and bring you joy. So, what are the key benefits from following strategy number one? More success, more happiness, better mental and physical health, more positive impact on the world, and also a competitive advantage. So why more success and competitive advantage? Because if you love what you do, you're excited about what you do, you love to learn about what you do in terms of your career or your business, you'll have a almost unfair competitive advantage over people who don't love what they do, who aren't energized and elevated by the work of the trade. Okay, more happiness, pretty much self-explanatory there. If you're prioritizing things that bring you joy and excite you, you'll have more happiness and you'll be able to lift others up as well. The happier you are, the more joy you have in your life, the more you can lift others up. Whether you're a parent, a leader, a spouse, a family member, a friend, the more joy you have, the more joy you can give to others. Better mental and physical health. If you're doing things you enjoy, exercise you enjoy, it's much more likely you're going to do it. If it brings you joy and energizes you, a specific type of exercise, the more likely you'll do it. Okay. And also, you'll make a more positive impact on the world. All right. If you're bringing your special gifts to the world, and I believe every man, woman, and child is born with a genius, a special gift or talent, something they're great at, something they love to learn about. If you're pursuing that, you'll make a much better, much bigger positive impact on the world. Let me share with you a few thoughts on finding your fire and following your fun. Here's a thought from Jack Canfield, author of The Success Principles, one of the world's top experts on success and performance. And Jack says, don't ask what the world needs, ask what makes you come alive, because what the world needs is people who have come alive. When you are following your joy, that means you are doing what you are here to do. Joy is your feedback system that says you are on course. Here's a thought from Barbara Corcoran. She's one of the stars of the TV show Shark Tank. Brilliant, brilliant entrepreneur, brilliant success expert. Barbara says, the people who have the most fun in their business make the most money. Here's a quote from Kevin Kelly, wrote a book called Excellent Advice for Living, one of my favorite books. Do more of what looks like work to others, but is play for you. Here's a thought from Charles Poliquin, legendary trainer. Charles said, discipline came from what I loved. It's much easier to have discipline at something if you love it. The purpose of life is a life of purpose. That's by Robert Byrne, American chess grandmaster. Here's a quote from Dr. Marshall Goldsmith. Now we're going to go into surrounding ourselves with people who bring us joy and energize us and bring out the best in us. And Dr. Marshall Goldsmith asks, I always have a question. Is my life better or off or worse off because I met this person? Here's a quote from Gunnar Peterson, one of the top personal trainers in the world. Gunnar says, I like motivated people. They are the people I try to surround myself with. Show me the 5 people that you spend the most time with, and I will show you who you are. Here's a quote from the late, great Charlie Munger. He was vice chairman of Berkshire Hathaway. He was Warren Buffett's business partner. And Charlie says, work with and under people you admire and avoid the inverse when at all possible. And here's a quote from Paulina Marinova Pompliano. She wrote an outstanding book on performance called Hidden Genius. And she says, to improve your content diet, start with a content audit. Take an honest look at the content you consume on a daily basis. What do you read? What do you watch? What do you listen to? Who do you hang out with? All right. Now I'm going to give you 2 action steps for this principle that you can choose from. You can do one or both. This is called the 80-20 relationships exercise. I learned this from a gentleman named Richard Koch, as well as Tim Ferriss. Tim talks about this as well. Write down the 20 people you spend the most time with. Identify the people who bring you the most joy and growth and energy, and thank them and spend more time with them. Identify the people who drain your joy and energy and address them and or eliminate time with them. So make a list of those 20 people and identify the 4 or 5 people that energize you and elevate you, challenge you to be better, bring you joy and growth, and thank them and spend the most time you can with them. And then identify also the 4 or 5 people who drain your energy, okay, who bring you the most stress, and then have an honest, loving conversation, respectful, loving conversation with them about how you can improve the relationship. And or sometimes we have to end relationships if that other person's not willing to listen and hear us. Now, in order to attract people who bring you joy and growth and elevate you, I want you to first be that person. Okay, be that person who brings joy and growth and elevation and challenges others to be their best. Be that person first. Action step number 2. Ask and answer these questions if you're trying to identify what your fire is and what your fun is in life. Ask yourself these questions. What did I love to learn about from ages 12 to 18? Question 2, what do people compliment me on? Question 3, what comes easier to me than others? Question number 4, what do I love to learn about now? And question number 5, if I can only do one type of work for the next 20 years, what would it be? Okay. And here's a bonus action step. Bonus action step if you choose to do this. What are the top 3 hobbies or activities that bring you the most joy? Make sure you prioritize them and plug them into your daily and weekly schedule. So that is principle number 1 of the Golden Road. Principle number 2, strategy number 2, study and model the absolute best of the best in your discipline or field. Make your thoughts, words, habits, and days look like theirs. Okay, David Ogilvy, he's a legendary marketer, legendary business expert. Warren Buffett called him a genius. He had a saying, he said, don't be an ignorant amateur. And what he meant by that is don't be someone who does not study their discipline or field on a regular basis. Okay, and we'll talk about how specifically and what to look for here in a minute. But don't be an ignorant amateur at anything, at business, in your career, if you're an athlete, with your sport, as a parent, as a manager, as a police officer, military personnel, doctor, nurse, whatever your profession is, school teacher. Don't be an ignorant amateur. Spend time learning from the best of the best experts and role models in your field. Okay. John Spence, he's a great friend and mentor of mine. John has read over 3,000 books on performance and leadership and business. He also was recognized as a top 10 business thought leader in the world, along with Jeff Bezos and the co-founders of Google. John is a trusted advisor to Microsoft and Coca-Cola and NASA and some of the other most successful organizations in the world. And John says, if you spend 15 minutes a day studying how to be better at your job or improve your life skills, you would be in the top 1% in the world for self-learning. And John also has his 7x1x7 rule. And he says, reading 7 days per week for 1 hour per day in your chosen field will make you an international expert in 7 years. Now, in my subjective experience over the last 20 years of my own journey of studying and learning from the absolute best of the best in the world, and building my business and authoring books and other things I'm proud of. Okay. That is 100% accurate in terms of 15 minutes to an hour a day, learning from the absolute best of the best in the world at what you're trying to improve. All right, here's an excerpt, two excerpts from the book Hidden Genius by Paulina Marinova Pompliano. And Paulina tells us when he was a young player, Kobe Bryant says he went to Goat Mountain to speak to players like Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Jerry West, Oscar Robertson, and Bill Russell. He asked them, "What did you do? What were your experiences? What was the process like for you?" End quote. A great exercise is to ask yourself, who's the person living my dream life? Identify that person, research their early life, and figure out how they got to where they are today. As Bryant said, quote, "We're surrounded by people who do incredible things, and the information is right there for us to learn from," end quote. Listen intently, take what you have learned, and bet on yourself. Here's another excerpt from that great book, Hidden Genius. Before Steve Kerr got the head coaching job with the Golden State Warriors, he decided to visit all the coaches he greatly admired. He met with legends, including Phil Jackson, Greg Popovich, Lute Olson, Lenny Wilkens, and Pete Carroll. Kerr wanted to understand the nuts and bolts of what made them so great. I want to share with you a concept I call modeling Mount Rushmore. So all these great high impact, successful individuals approached their discipline or field and learning, and they all did something I call going to Mount Rushmore. Kobe Bryant called it going to Goat Mountain, the greatest of all time mountain. All right, here's some examples of modeling around Mount Rushmore. Jeff Bezos modeled Sam Walton. Warren Buffett modeled Benjamin Graham. Steve Jobs modeled Edwin Land and Walt Disney. Oprah Winfrey modeled Maya Angelou. Beyonce modeled Oprah Winfrey and Anita Baker. Mark Zuckerberg modeled Steve Jobs. Kanye West modeled Steve Jobs. Walt Disney, Howard Hughes, and Henry Ford. Abraham Lincoln modeled George Washington. Barack Obama modeled Nelson Mandela. Franklin Delano Roosevelt modeled Teddy Roosevelt. Bill Clinton modeled Martin Luther King Jr. and John F. Kennedy. Martin Luther King Jr. modeled Gandhi. Tony Robbins modeled Jim Rohn and Richard Bandler. Serena Williams modeled Venus Williams. Urban Meyer modeled Bill Walsh. Steve Kerr modeled Phil Jackson, Greg Popovich, Lute Olson, Lenny Wilkens, and Pete Carroll. Michael Jordan modeled David Thompson. Kobe Bryant modeled Michael Jordan, Steve Jobs, and J.K. Rowling. LeBron James modeled Michael Jordan and Allen Iverson. Mike Tyson modeled Jack Dempsey. Muhammad Ali modeled Sugar Ray Robinson. Bruce Lee modeled Muhammad Ali and Steve McQueen. George St. Pierre modeled Bruce Lee. Conor McGregor modeled Muhammad Ali, Floyd Mayweather, and Bruce Lee. Dwayne Johnson modeled Muhammad Ali. Michael Venom Page modeled Dwayne The Rock Johnson and Jackie Chan. Taylor Swift modeled Faith Hill, Reese Witherspoon, Chris Christopherson, and Kenny Chesney. Elvis Presley modeled Chuck Berry. The Beatles modeled Elvis Presley and Chuck Berry. Caitlin Clark modeled Maya Moore. Key action steps. Very simple. For 15 to 60 minutes a day, I want you to do any or all these activities. Okay. This is learning from the best of the best, studying and modeling. 15 to 60 minutes a day. Identify the Mount Rushmore of what you're trying to improve and study and learn from them. Read and listen to biographies. Listen to the Founders Podcast, one of the greatest podcasts, if not the greatest podcast on high performance and business success and just overall high impact. Evan Carmichael's Top 10 Rules of Success on YouTube. That's a list of the top 10 to 50 rules of success from some of the most successful, high impact people of our lifetime. Read or listen to the Success Principles and the Success Principles Workbook by Jack Canfield, as well as Relentless Solution Focus by Dr. Jason Selk. Let's talk about principle number 3, strategy number 3 of the Golden Road. Relentlessly seek feedback from trusted advisors, key stakeholders, coaches, and mentors on what you're doing well, and number 2, what you need to improve. Then take fast action on what you learn. Okay, what do you want feedback on? And remember, feedback is a gift. We want it. Jack Canfield says feedback is the breakfast of champions. Okay, it's a gift from others when we get that honest feedback about what we're doing well as a confidence boost and what we should double down on there, and also what we need to do better. Now, here's what I want you to get the feedback on. You can give yourself feedback as well, but it's critically important that you get that external feedback from trusted advisors. Get that feedback on your current mindsets, habits, and strategies in terms of what do I need to stop doing? What do I need to start doing? What do I need to continue doing? What am I doing well? And what can I do better? Okay, here's some action steps. Okay, key action steps on this one. The success log by Dr. Jason Selk. It's a daily assessment process, only takes a few minutes. It's in the book Relentless Solution Focus. That's Jason Selk's success log. I've done a version of myself for years. I have my own version of it. I use parts of Jason's. If you only use Jason's success log, that is excellent. That can and will be absolutely life-changing. Action step number 2, form your trusted advisor dream team. I call this a trusted advisor dream team. Surround yourself with at least 3 trusted advisors, personally and professionally. Okay, 3 of each, personally and professionally. These are mentors, coaches, doctors, therapists, personal trainers, nutritionists, spiritual advisors, respected friends, family members, and colleagues, okay, who will give you that feedback we talked about earlier. What am I doing well? What can I do better? Okay, they'll teach you something you don't know. All right, they'll elevate you in all kinds of ways in terms of your knowledge, your confidence. It's an absolute must. It's an absolute secret to success of the world's highest, most positive impact performers. They all have trusted advisor dream teams of some sort, paid and unpaid. Okay. Here's some thought from Dr. Marshall Goldsmith, one of the world's greatest experts on leadership and performance. And Dr. Goldsmith has this great question. And he says, get in the habit of asking the question, how can I be a better fill in the blank? How can I be a better boss, friend, listener, etc.? We ask our customers how we can get better, but do we ask our wife, how can I be a better husband? Here's a question from Jack Canfield. Got a lot of Jack Canfield today in this episode. He's got a lot of gold to bring to the world, and he calls it the most valuable question you may ever learn. And here's the story. In the 1980s, a multimillionaire businessman taught me a question that radically changed the quality of my life. If the only thing you get out of reading this book is the consistent use of this question in your personal and business life, it will have been worth the money and time you have invested. So, what is this magical question that can improve the quality of every relationship you are in, every product you produce, every service you deliver, every meeting you conduct, every class you teach, and every transaction you enter into? Here it is. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the quality of our relationship, service/product, during the last week, 2 weeks, month, quarter, semester, season? Here are a number of variations on the same question that have served me well over the years. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the meeting we just had? Me as a manager, me as a parent, me as a teacher, this class, this meal, my cooking, this deal, this book. Any answer that gets less than a 10 gets the follow-up question. What would it take to make it a 10? This is where the most valuable information comes from. Knowing that a person is dissatisfied is not enough. Knowing in detail what will satisfy them gives you the information you need to do what is necessary to create a winning product, service, or relationship. Make it a habit to end every project, meeting, class, training, consultation, installation, and consultation with those 2 questions. So I'm going to ask you to comment below. When you listen to this video or watch it on YouTube, I want you to comment below with what you would rate this episode on a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of positive impact on you, in terms of practical, applicable knowledge that can be life-changing. And if you didn't give it a 10, please let me know what I could have done to make it a better episode for you. All right. Feedback, again, the breakfast of champions. Those are the 3 key strategies of the Golden Road. Okay. Very simple and extremely applicable. Everyone has access to these key strategies. Okay. We can all do this. Right? We can all apply them. So I challenge you, number 1, to find your fire and follow your fun. Number two, study and model the absolute best and the best of your discipline and field. And then number three, relentlessly seek feedback from your trusted advisors, your key stakeholders, coaches, and mentors. Okay, that's my challenge to you. Choose one of those action steps that we talked about from one of the key strategies, and I want you to put it into action. Okay, choose one of them, the one that you think you need to improve the most, and take action on it. I wish you an elevated life of success, happiness, and positive impact.